I take note on the staggering of the appointment letters. And the issue that is there is that some of them actually, even in terms of audit, most of them were in 2021. Now that the appointment was done in 2018, so it was to go, most of them were in 2021. But the current status is that we have done the renew, regardless of those staggering of the appointment immediately. This year, the 2022, 2023, and 2023, 2024, we have a new committee in all the wards now with one date because of the appointment was done one time. So that's the status as per now.
Any other question, members? Editor, your last comment?
What we can say is that if the only thing that can resolve this, if we can get the current status, whether the committee are in place, it could have resolved the issue. But when you check this appointment letter, it was signed in January 2018.
I don't know how you work with auditors, because my question would be to the auditors especially. We have an issue of in committee ward. I'm seeing 11-member committee, and it's supposed to be 8. But I'm seeing at one point you have captured that these other members were offering clerical services. Basically, if we had many members and required, that would be ultra vires, they're acting beyond their powers. But then I'm asking because maybe I don't know, maybe my members would know better. Why would you bring that issue when I've already sorted? I don't know. Why does it appear still here, Chairman? Because if maybe it was canvassed at another level, what would then be appearing on the report, or everything has to appear on the report?
Chair, at the time of the report, that some of these issues can be handled during the audit process. They don't have to appear in the audit report. These clarifications, they can be handled because you go through a process of more than 5 steps, including the draft management letter. At that point, you should be able to address some of these issues that end up in the audit report. So I think let's proceed to the next fund, which is emergency fund. As usual, auditor, please take us through the
qualified opinion. There was only one issue that led to qualification, and it was on general expenses. And we could not resolve, but a document has been submitted to us this morning, which we need time to verify before we can clear the issue.
So
then,
to the issue of general expenses.
Yeah, on the issue of general expenses, there was only that issue in that financial year. Then, moving to the year ended 30th June 2021, there was an unqualified opinion. That's a clean opinion. And the only issue under other matter was about prior year unresolved issues, which was unresolved because this sitting has not taken place to deliberate on the issues. Now with the sitting, I think we consider the issues resolved.
So that the issue on non-existence of the county fund enabling legislation.
Yes. Then under report on lawfulness and effectiveness in use of public resources, there was issue on non-existence of the county fund enabling legislation. Chair, the legislation is now in place, and we consider the issue resolved. Thank you, Chair.
What about 22 ended June 2022?
Chair, in the year ended 30th June 2022, there was no issue raised in the report. It was an qualified opinion, a clean opinion.
Laikipia, you are doing so well. So, for the year ended June 2020, you have said that you had one issue, but that one issue that is in regard to general expenses, and that the reports have been given to you. Which reports were you referring to? The ones that you have been given this morning? This one here.
Yes.
This one. Maybe members, you can guide us. How do we treat this? Because we cannot look at something that the auditors have not looked at as a committee. So maybe you can give me your opinion on this.
Chair, what is the tradition in the past? You know, this is not the first time we are also having the same issue. So maybe the issue is we give then the auditors an opportunity to go through them. And then within 2 weeks or so, they get back to us.
It's just a component of the response. It's not the entire response. This we have Annex 1A, Annex 1B, Annex 1C, Annex 1D, and this particular one is Annex 1E. 1E, which is payment vouchers, supporting documents, distribution list, and all that. So maybe for the record purpose, we will go through the query, but on that particular annex, we will ask the auditors to have a look at it and give us feedback. So maybe, auditor, you can take us through the query.
Thank you, Chair. And for the year ended 30th June 2020, basis for qualified opinion, general expenses. The statement of financial performance for the year ended 30th June 2020 reflects general expenses of 214,425,232 shillings, out of which an amount of 32,100,656 shillings was incurred in respect of purchase of foodstuff to vulnerable families under COVID-19 effects mitigation program. However, no documentary evidence was provided on how people who benefited from the food donation were identified. Further, distribution list supporting the donation was not signed by the beneficiaries acknowledging receipt of the food rations. Further, inventory records for the foodstuffs were not updated. Under the circumstances, the validity of the expenditure of 32,100,656 shillings could not be confirmed. And further, it was not possible to confirm whether the donations reached the intended beneficiaries. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your management response?
In response to the above, distribution committee made a deliberate decision to minimize the contact with the beneficiaries, including the signing of forms. The committee used the zero contact distribution system in most instances where beneficiaries got soft token vouchers that they redeemed at food distribution centers. Where it was not possible to use this technological method of distribution, physical forms were utilized to monitor distribution, and this can be seen in the annexes listed below. That is Annex 1A, that the zero contact distribution system guidelines, Annex 1B, redeemed token beneficiary report, and Annex 1C, which have the COVID-19 committee report, and Annex 1D, food distribution and sampled photos. And then Annex 1E, which is already in this big document of payment vouchers.
So, Auditor, your comments on that response? Taking into account that 1E, you will have to verify later, 1E bundle that has been sent to us.
Okay, Chair, we were able to go through all the, and they were able to answer our query satisfactorily, save for the document that we have just been given, which the only thing that was pending is on inventory of this foodstuff, which you are not able to verify in the absence of document. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Members, I open.
It was not easy for people to assemble people and also to sign. And it is very clear, everybody knows that during COVID, we could not even shake hands, let alone sign anything. So maybe the auditor needs to tell us, with the report that he has, the inventory report that he has received this morning, what does he think it's still remaining on the query, or does he need time to go through it to clarify and address, so that the issue is addressed?
Auditor?
Yeah, they first said with the documents that were provided with, they were satisfied with the answer that was given with the previous document. With the new document that they've just gotten, it will give them guidance. I don't know whether it's food supplied or something. I don't know what. What?
The payment voucher.
The payment voucher. So I don't want to belabor the point now that they have just gotten the document, as your colleagues had indicated, for you to give them 14 days so that they can have a look at it. Maybe they would raise another query if they confirm that the vouchers were not properly done. Maybe they can raise the query. But Chair, I'm looking at some pictures here, and I had my good governor saying that people could not meet or sign some document. But I'm seeing people here, so many, in the picture, and you know, pictures never lie. And Governor, this is Chairman, allow me to address the Governor direct. Governor, if you look at some place in Ganoine, I was giving food there, and we were many. If there was something that was required to be signed, would have signed. But having said that, I think I am contented with what you have said, and I agree with my colleagues that you give 14 days.
Senator.
Yeah, yes, but you remember there was room for space and people were also wearing masks. And you know, Chair, we need that audit trail. The audit trail, you must have signatures, you must have, you know, just for him also. Because you remember last time when we had Governor Kihika, we had the same issues. But you see, the governors will come and go, but then records have to stay. So this one, of course, we must have that audit trail, that there were signatures, that there were people, and I agree with Senator Kinyua, that there are people here collecting, and there's that room, you know, that space. Let us give them room. Like you said, maybe the 14 days could be satisfactory for us to understand better. Thank you.
Very well. I think for this query to be resolved, we would need the feedback on Annex 1E, which exactly, I think in the interim recommendations, we will say something about that. Because ordinarily, Governor, when you bring documents on the material day, you are very unfair to, not just to the auditors, but to the members. Because then we are not able to deal with the matter very well. And that occasions postponement of a matter that we would easily have done. So I think that should come out as one of the recommendations we are going to give today.
Chairman, on a point of order.
Yes, proceed.
If I listen to the auditor clearly, he said, with the documents that were provided, and I want to quote him verbatimly, they were satisfied. So the Laikipia County, the only bad thing that Laikipia County did is to volunteer information. Am I saying so? Am I making? Because exactly from what I gathered, when you said the answer, you are satisfied with the answer until they provide another document. I think today or I don't know which day, 1E. Had you requested for 1E, or they just volunteered information, and with the information that they have volunteered, you are crucifying them? I'm just asking. I don't know.
In their response, this appendix was included.
Interim recommendation so that this does not happen in future moving forward. So let's look at the year ended 2021. Auditor, what did you say? 2022, year ended 2022, you had said that
There was no issue, Chair.
there were no issues.
Yes.
Okay, so then that brings us to the end of emergency fund. Now we go to leasing fund. But before we do that, COB, what's your feedback on these three funds?
To confirm that Laikipia County has got no outstanding issue with COB. Even according to the latest report, they are submitting their quarterly reports on time. Apart from the issue that we have always deliberated on, where they're operating the funds in commercial banks, and that one we agreed on how to go about it with the honorable members. Otherwise, from our end, they do not have anything outstanding on the three funds from our reports.
Okay. Honorable members, any comment on that?
Yes, Chair, the issue of operating on commercial banks, I think it is all the county's chair. And if you remember what they told us is they had issues in payment of bursaries, especially bursaries, or to the beneficiaries from Central Bank. So maybe that is something that we need to discuss when we have Treasury and COB, so that we can see how we can follow the law. Because if the law is very clear that they are supposed to operate accounts in Central Bank and they are doing it in commercial banks because of the challenges they face in remitting payment to beneficiaries, we will need to interrogate, and also, if then need be, then we amend the law.
And yes, counties, we require more engagement because the law exists to make things work and not to make things not work. So if it is very inconveniencing for counties to operate the funds account in CBK, then we, as legislators, we can look for a remedy on that matter. But as it stands now, most counties are running the funds in commercial bank account, which is contrary to the law, because the law says should be CBK. But because of the explanations that we have received so far, we will have to engage COB and the Treasury to see how that can be harmonized. So let's proceed to the leasing. Pardon?
Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say on behalf of the Council of Governors, I think because this is an issue that has been prevailing in all the counties, and I don't think this is the best value for all, because now we know that was Nakuru, this is the county government of Laikipia, and all other counties who have funds, and I'm sure that all the counties have these kind of funds, and all of them, I don't think there is any that is using the central bank because of the complications and hurdles that we always get. And I think this is a time now the Senate, in light and in the spirit of protecting devolution, that you need now to enact, to give it a priority to enact a law or amend that law, so that this again doesn't become an audit calling now and then moving forward. That's my humble request.
Okay, very well. Governor, maybe before we start looking at the leasing fund, you may give us a small brief about what leasing fund is all about. This is the very first fund we are considering, leasing fund.
Chair, one thing that you need to take cognizance is that Laikipia County, all the way from 2013, was set the models for many of the laws. I say this with a lot of confidence because I was there 2013, 2017, where I was the first governor that did over 30 legislations or acts that propelled it to where the county government are today. And many of them actually, Laikipia County, many other counties used those Laikipia County acts as a model to do the other, and particularly on these funds. And therefore, this is another one that is coming on board because we did the County Revenue Authority, no other county had done that. We did Laikipia County Development Authority, no other county had done that, and many others. And therefore, this is one of the, probably many other counties might think to consider, because the leasing fund is where it provides a space or an opportunity for the county to do the leasing of machineries rather than only buying equipment, just a replica of what now we are struggling with, the leasing of medical equipment. Rather than now being done by the national government, the county government can be able to do using this act without now be within the law. And that's the purpose of this act, where it gives the county government space if they want to lease equipment, machineries of doing the roads and maintaining the roads and doing all kinds of works on roads. It can be able to do this. The county government can be able to lease even if it's the drilling machine rather than buying, because they want to fasten and fast track in terms of a quicker implementation and service delivery. So that was the purpose, and I'm sure very soon you'll be hearing that Laikipia County is also going into hiring and leasing equipments of medical equipment rather than buying, because most of them are very dearly expensive, and therefore rather than doing that, can we get into the leasing program? That's the purpose of this fund.
Okay, unless we have any further comment on that.
Chairman, I just wanted to add, he forgot to tell only the 30 registration that were made during his tenure, first tenure. We were the first county assembly to translate our standing orders from English to Kiswahili. Even the National Assembly followed from Laikipia. Thank you.
Okay. Is that the reason why you always speak Swahili?
Chair, I was just putting it quietly that I'm the one who initiated it.
Okay.
Yes, I was just saying it quietly.
Excellent.
Could have been also the translator.
Yeah, and you speak very good Swahili on the floor. Senator, Vice Chair, Finance, introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Chair. And sorry I'm late. Yes, as a Vice Chair Finance, I'm just from trying to see how the MCAs will get autonomy at the county governments, because we have a bill we're executing. Bwana Governor, karibu sana. Happy to see you. My name is Tabitha Mutinda, member to this committee. Na naona uko na mama mmoja leo. Bwana unaniangusha namna hiyo bwana. I only see one lady.
Others behind there. Maybe you can
I have a number.
to be seen.
I've always encouraged ladies, when you come, take your seat on the front so that I can also be able to recognize that you represent and the governors have given you and accorded you an opportunity to work in those institutions. So the lady from Laikipia County, kindly move forward. Thank you so much, Chair.
Very well. The lady, we still have some space there. Okay, so
Unqualified opinion, that's a clean opinion. But under report on lawfulness and effectiveness in use of public resources, there was issue on compliance with Public Finance Management Act 2012 on establishment of county fund. This has been responded to satisfactorily. Then in the year ended 30th June 2021, again.
Maybe before you go,
Yes.
just tell us in brief, how has it been responded to?
Take that.
Satisfactory.
For the first query, by then there was no regulation, but currently they have established, there's a regulation in place. That is why we have said they have answered satisfactorily.
So when it was established in July 2019, there were no regulations.
Yes, they had not set up regulations at that time.
But now they have regulations.
Yes, Chair.
That is the year 2020. Okay. I don't know. I don't know, COB, how do you approve the operationalization of a fund without regulations or without an act? How was it possible?
Thank you, Chair. According to the records that we have, this fund was established 6th December 2020. So maybe we can hear from the county if that is when they developed their regulation. And from the office point, we can never approve funds to be transferred to a particular fund from CRF if there is no act in place. And we always write and advise the counties on the same.
No, but that's what the query say. It's saying that the fund commenced operations in July 2019, but the act came in place 1 year later, 2020. So that 1 year, how was it operating without legislation?
Can I respond, Chair?
You can respond, Governor.
Yes. Many other times, before we get to things that will inform us to do an act, many other times the county starts like a program. And therefore, this one started as a program, which, of course, the COB would not have an issue. It's just like any other program. But we later realized that it cannot continue being a program.
I've seen in this act, you've talked about equipment in general. So what equipments are you focusing on when you talk about leasing? Which are these that prompted you to find in your wisdom to set a fund for leasing? Because actually the first fund we are coming across as far as leasing equipment is concerned. So which are these equipments?
Some of the leasing equipment that we are talking about is like the waste garbage collecting trucks that even currently we do have. There are others we have for the trucks and the tractors, excavators to do the roads for the county. And the reason why we decided to do this is that with the little budget, and this is one of the issues that we thought the Senate would consider. Part of the counties that are getting less than even 6 billion Kenya shillings, survive for or giving service becomes a problem. And therefore, these counties, we try to navigate and see what do we do to ensure that our people are still getting services like other counties that are getting 12, 15, billion Kenya shillings. And therefore, this is one of the areas, a very innovative area that we thought, like, let's get out there and see how can we also achieve service delivery to our people through the leasing program, where we would lease machineries from the manufacturer or from the various companies. And therefore, yeah, this is the reason why we want to open it up now. Rather than for load maintenance and garbage collection, we want also to expand to health so that we are able to give our services to our people. And that's, but, and probably this might now provoke the Senate to think about these counties that get less than 6 billion in the fourth generation of the formula, whether these counties could be getting not less than 7 billion so that they're able to give services like other counties. And that's our humble request as we move forward. But in terms of leasing equipments, this one is very innovative. And I would give a case study that we have been able to do more roads. We are able to give the services that people could not get, like Lino unit. We could not be able to get our people for dialysis services, but through the leasing, we are able to get it done, even almost get into our level 4 hospitals in our counties.
Through the chair, made indirectly, because I know they receive 5.3 billion. Governor, you are safe. The issue of counties receiving less than 7 billion or 6 billion, it's in my committee, and we'll be able to look at these things because from where we sit, we are also concerned. You want more money, but the utilization of that money is, it leaves a lot of so many questions. But so far, I can see your books seem to be clean. And these are the justifications that we'll be looking forward to analyze, because when I ask you then, why do you need more money when you come to the other committee? But it makes sense, I understand, but I would advise that it's always good for emergency purposes to have a few assets that the county does own. Like even if it's 2 to 3 trucks, you can be able to make a direct purchase for future, for emergencies, and a few machines for startup. But I'm satisfied with the response. I saw you were concentrating with the clerk at that time. The auditors responded they needed some time. And I would request, with your permission, you give them the timeline, 14 days, so that they can be able to submit with the other submissions that will guide them. Thank you, Chair.
Just submit what? Clarify.
Thank you, Chair. I had asked in regards to what percentage is allocated to this fund, what was the actual figure allocated, and what was utilized. And they requested for more time for that response so that we know as a committee, was it underutilized, was it over budgeted or under budgeted, and all that. So you can guide on the timeline.
But if there was any issue, they would raise it in their query.
They haven't.
That year, they had unqualified opinion, which means they did not see any other issue apart from this.
Yeah, but my question was, what is normally allocated to this fund? What percentage? The way we have emergency at 3%, we have, I think, education at about some 2%.
Maybe the legal officer, you can scan through their regulations. What does it provide for?
Chair, I humbly seek the kindly for the senator to repeat so that I can identify what is being queried.
In the Act, legal, I haven't seen how much is supposed to be allocated in terms of the percentage. The way we normally see in the emergency fund and the education or bursary fund. This fund does not have, this Act does not indicate how much, the percentage.
Okay, understood. Let me just give a response shortly.
I think the county should be in a better position. The
Yes.
CEC Finance.
Chair, is that this one we have not set any percentage because it depends on our needs. Where if you require as what environment, and I think this is a discussion that Senator Mutida in terms of these counties. I think
and from the COB, they have mentioned about good books of Laikipia. Even before we wait for the fourth generation, I think Laikipia, you go to account now the money that we are given in January, there's nothing in the account. Is because immediately it gets there, we sweep it to paying either salaries or whichever. While other counties that have been getting 15, 12 billion, they still have more money than even what we get. And the money is lying idle into their accounts, while in our case, like Laikipia, immediately it gets in. After 1 week or two, we are reading zero, that we even don't have anything. And therefore, for me, even if this is not the best forum, but it's good for Senate now that you have given us this opportunity, just to take note that some of the counties are really, really suffering. We are living on hard to mouth. Thank you.
Chairman, the issue of freezing, from where I see it, is a game changer. Looking at the stuff done, it's a good thing. Another thing is about maintenance. Maintaining this equipment is a hurdle. I've heard my colleague talking about buying equipment. It's a good thing. But when you buy, like everything, you don't have listing. You have bought everything. And then you'll be looking at many of these counties. The only thing you can find is a yard which has a lot of junks. Selling this junk is another mission impossible, Chairman. So the issue of listing is good. And I am confirming because I come from this county. And the areas that these machines, like for example, you have the allocation that's given to a ward, and using this listing machine, you can see the work that has been done, Chairman. So I want to confirm that listing is a good thing, and Senator Mutinda, we don't only need more money like Laikipia, we need it to be provided at the right time. Because we always lag, the counties are lagging behind getting their monies, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And this is the reason why, Chair was looking at these documents, all of them, and that's the reason why I'll be the first person to raise an issue that I don't want Governor Joshua Irongo to come to the Senate so that we can ask these questions when you are not seated here, because the questions I'm seeing here is from Derito Moredi. I'm assuming Derito Moredi was sitting here as the senator. It's not very neat. So, Chair, I want to...
Yeah, that's why we are trying to fast track the backlog so that we start dealing with the current issues.
Okay.
Yeah, we are trying to clear the backlog.
Because sometimes you find you asking questions. So, okay, because at least I know government is an ongoing concern, he'll have to answer those questions. But it will be neat if you're asking the person, the correct person, the person who is the holder of the office at that time. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, if I may?
Yeah, you proceed.
Yes. As a follow-up to the minute to adhere to regulation 197 as it is pointed out, the whole of that regulation gives a guideline on the minimum requirements for a fund to be established. So apart from just forming the fund, we are supposed to ensure that the fund is self-sustaining. So as much as we are forming the fund, like I was listening to the information from the governor, and I was imagining that if they could be hiring those equipments for funds, then it could be bringing money to the counties. So maybe we need to be guided on how these funds are supposed to be formed, so that we should not rely on the county budget to fund the funds. So that is important information we need to see.
That's a very important point, that the fund must be self-sustaining. Yeah. I want to conclude this matter.
And that is just open. But because you are one of the smart governors, we let you, give us your view. There's courtesy on that. But Article 10 of the same Act, you talk about all receipts and earnings. Then it raises a question of where are you getting the earnings from? And then yet it's a leasing fund. Did you have an intention, as per what the gentleman talked about, to see how to earn? And when a senator like Laikipia, when I talked about the county looking at having just like one or two machineries of their own, it is to their own advantage. One, in the case scenario of an emergency that has occurred and something needs to be done, a road needs to be maintained, rain has fallen and it was not expected. At the same time, they can make earnings by also a leasing, because a fund needs to have that. I haven't seen administration costs. Let me finish, kindly, Senator.
On a point, so that you can finish. It's not possible. What you people talking about sustaining is not all funds that are sustaining. Bursary fund, how do you sustain bursary fund? Because I need to understand how do you sustain some of them. How do you sustain them? Please proceed now.
Thank you, Senator. This is always a very coordinated and calm committee so that it can be able to guide the governors. This is a development fund, as the governor has been, your governor has been able to put it. We are here to guide them so that it's a win-win. Tomorrow you'll be the governor, and these are some of the questions that you'll be embarking on probably. But all said, Chair, I think point is on, Governor. You are very open, Governor, to sharing information, something that we appreciate. It's not the first time that you're here. So I believe through the submissions of the Chair, as he concludes, you'll be able to get the best guideline on it. Thank you, Chair. Chair, back to you.
Let us, you tip us for words, but let me tell you, Senator's Chair, within a year or 2 years, when they are not able to service and maintain those equipment, they will just be lying in the yards, because we have history from the county councils. County councils, they used to buy equipment, and then after a while, in archival. And I believe the only fund that we believe should be revolving is if you are having a fund, a revolving fund like the one you are giving loans to the women, to the youth, like WESA fund, like a youth enterprise fund, or women fund. Otherwise, these are the funds. Basically, maybe it's for you are seeing a need, like the way the National Police Service they list motor vehicles, so that when it becomes maintaining of those Land Cruisers or Mahindras, it was the business of the owner who was giving the leasing. So I believe, unless, of course, if you buy excavators and the others, who are you going to lease? All the roads are yours. Unless I'm putting up my house and I just lease it for a day or two and pay you for fuel. So basically, I think we also need to look at the law, as the lawyer said, they need to be self-sustaining. What is supposed to be self-sustaining? You know, also, we don't just make laws we don't understand what happens. So, Chair, I think we have belabored on this too much. We need also to be moving. And, you know, Chair, we've been here from 10 p.m., 10 a.m.
And before maybe I conclude, let me hear from the legal officer.
Chair, I'd like the attention.
Our mandate is to look at the audit queries. That observation will come in our interim recommendations. But for now, we cannot stop looking at the audit queries because of that observation. We can only point it out in our recommendations so that the county can go and rectify. But we cannot stop. How many other things have we found? How many other queries have we seen which are inconsistent with the law? But that has never stopped us from looking at other queries. So we will proceed, but we'll note that in our recommendations. Auditor, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. As I was saying,